I don't think at any point in my life that I want to be anything but a Marine officer. At least 15, 20 times over my childhood, Dad had said, hey, you don't have to be a Marine because I'm a Marine. You know, I remember saying, well, Dad, you know, I think this is how God made me. You know, God made me to be a Marine.
Eric Burkett served in the Army Reserve for 5 years before joining the Marine Corps on June 6, 1999, where he later earned a commission to become an assault pilot.
I was actually told by a flight surgeon that I'd never be a Marine pilot, let alone a Marine. He couldn't have been more wrong. Man, I loved it. I couldn't believe they were paying me to go and do what I did.
In April 2012, 2 weeks into his 6th deployment, Eric was flying a V-22 Osprey as part of Operation African Lion when the aircraft suddenly went into an uncontrolled dive and crashed in Morocco. Eric suffered major lower limb, lung, and ocular nerve damage. His injuries eventually resulted in amputations of both legs, one above the knee and one below the knee.
Eric did come back to the United States with all of his limbs. He had a delayed amputation due to failed limb salvage 14 months into his rehabbing. We had the knee replacement, and then an infection, and then another infection, and it was just a cycle of medical setback after setback. It felt like we were just gonna be stuck there forever.
I mean, there was a lot of physical therapy, rehab. I remember just like at one point, just lifting my head up off the bed caused there to be enough shift in the pressures in my legs that hurt. And I just remember thinking, how am I ever gonna walk again?
The recovery process for Eric was long and difficult, full of setbacks and pain. But Eric found inspiration from retired United States Army Staff Sergeant Travis Mills, a quadruple amputee and a Gary Sinise Foundation Rise Home recipient, who uses his own experience to encourage and advocate for veterans and amputees across the United States.
You know, I said to him, I said, Travis, man, how do you always stay so upbeat? And he said to me, you wanna know the truth? I don't. There's days where I go back to my room and I cry. And I'm upset and I'm angry and I go through all these emotions. And then I get to the point that where I realize, hey, there's nothing else I can do. I can be upset, or I can put my legs back on such as they are, and I can go out this door and I can go try to conquer the world. You know, that really motivated me.
Since the accident, Eric and his family have lived in 3 different homes, none of which were equipped with the necessary facilities and technology to accommodate his injuries.
You know, where we're living now is probably as ADA compliant as any house built in the 1920s. There's no, I'll just get in a wheelchair and I'll be able to get around and do everything. Not the case there.
Through our R.I.S.E program, we were able to offer Eric and his family a pathway to greater independence through a specially adapted smart home.
When the Gary Sinise Foundation came on board, it was such a relief, such a burden off, such hope and joy.
The Gary Sinise Foundation, with the support of community and corporate donations, began construction on the Burkett's specially adapted custom smart home in Newcastle, Pennsylvania.
Wow, amazing.
It's overwhelming. It's absolutely beautiful.
My favorite thing about this house is that there are no steps that I have to deal with. Right up there with it is that I don't have to crutch sideways through a bathroom door to get to the bathroom.
We just felt like we were always on top of each other. Just having our own space is wonderful.
I look forward to putting memories in this place. If it's good weather, I just go right out the door. Enjoy it. Go right out the back door, sit on the porch, sit on the deck, and watch the kids play. Come into the kitchen, make my own lunch, make my own breakfast. That'll be a treat in and of itself.
It definitely relieves a lot of the burden for me. Things that Eric couldn't do for himself, he can do for himself now. He doesn't have to worry about narrow doorways or thick carpet, anything else that we've faced before.
This is more than a dream come true.
As Eric adjusts to post-military life, he is finding a renewed sense of purpose coaching other wounded Marines in the field of archery, while making new memories with his family in their new home. At the Gary Sinise Foundation, we serve our nation by honoring our defenders, first responders, their families, and those in need. To learn more about the Gary Sinise Foundation and how you can support other veterans like Eric Burkett, visit GarySiniseFoundation.org.